York's classic rock, Q1043.
Here he is.
What a coincidence this is. The chairman of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, John Sykes,
Mr. John Sykes
here
has
with
joined
us.
us. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome. Good morning.
Welcome.
Okay, so you're going to have to prepare yourself because this is the least rock class ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
We're calling it the unrock list.
All great artists.
Yes.
Yes,
Can't argue that.
All great artists. There's no argument with they're all great artists. But, you know, you're going to get pushback on having Rage Against the Machine being the only rock band in there with, you know, Soundgarden not making it, Iron Maiden not making it, the White Stripes not making it, so on and so forth.
Yeah. It you know, year to year, because rock and roll is not rock, it's an amalgam of rhythm, blues, country, and gospel, which is how it all started out in the late 50s. It's now more than one sound. Rock and roll is actually an amalgam. So what rock and roll does have in common, all the artists, is the fact that it's rebellious. It goes against the church. It went against school, and it started with a white and black artists together. So some years we have rock and roll artists, some rock artists. Some years we have rhythm and blues artists. And if to get it right, I think we've got to have them all because really rock and roll is the sound of young America. Barry Gordy used to put that on a Motown record, the sound of young America.
Yeah, that was their slogan. That was Motown's slogan.
Motown's. But you think about Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, sound of young America. But so is Marvin Gaye, and so is Jay-Z. So what's happening is as different genres start to proliferate, you really see that they all go back to rock and roll. Now, 2 years ago it was Rage Against the Machine got in first ballot, which is very hard to get in the first year.
No,
They're in this year.
I'm sorry. I was saying Foo Fighters. I'm sorry, Foo Fighters. Yeah, no, Rage is in this year. Foo Fighters came in when we were in Cleveland, and last year Eurythmics got in, and Judas Priest got in. So it's just not limited to one segment, and it does fluctuate from year to year. But really, if you look at all these artists, whether it's Willie or Kate Bush or Missy or George Michael, Rage, Sheryl Crow, the Spinners, young people at one point in time connected and listened to every word of those songs. And that's really what rock and roll is.
Well, it was often described, the birth of rock and roll, as country music and rhythm and blues got drunk one night, checked into a motel. 9 months later, they had a baby, and both parents have had a difficult relationship with that baby ever since.
Sounds like all of our upbringing, right?
Well, you've heard that description before.
Right.
Because it really, it was a country and rhythm and blues mashup there that created, early rock and roll.
Exactly. And so, unlike jazz, which is an elitist category, which is very narrow and it's one sound, rock and roll was kind of it's perfect for growing up, for baby boomers growing up in America, because it was just a mishmash coming off of World War II, whole changing culture, and this bringing black music to white audiences. It was, and you think about the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Zeppelin, they covered all those R&B songs.
John, I was really curious. We've been curious all these years. How many people get to vote on who gets into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and how do these people get to be voters to begin with? So
good question. There's a two-step process. One is a nominating committee of which Dave Grohl is on. You've got Stevie Van Zandt is on. Questlove is on. Tom Morello is on. There's 30 people, artists, producers, critics that actually come up with 17 nominees, the 17 nominees that you just mentioned earlier. And then it goes to a general voting ballot committee of 1,200. And those are former inductees, and again, journalists, record company executives, music experts that then vote it down. So for me and for everyone on the nominating committee, all 14 of these artists were our babies. Jack White, I love Jack White. I mean, amazing. I mean, you think about Warren Zevon. I thought he was going to get in. I really thought Warren Zevon.
Our boss swore it. He said, he's a shoo-in.
We all thought Warren Zevon was going to get in.
I mean, he did well, but there's the bylaws of the Rock and Roll of Fame is it's got to be the top 6 or 7 cutoff, and no more than that for that. But when we have special committee, awards, like for example, we gave to Bernie Taupin, who's written all the Elton John songs that wasn't in yet. So those are smaller committees. But what you're talking about for performers, it's 30 people come up with 14 names, and then it's narrowed down to 7 by a general voting body.
And then because we have one of our friends, I didn't know was a voter, but he put a picture of his ballot up on Facebook.
And is that
week.
allowed?
Exactly.
Are you allowed to post
that's how
your
I
ballot?
knew he was a voter. This friend of mine, I said, "Well, so that's what the ballot looks like."
Well, you know something, you guys I listen to every day. You and Jim, God, we've known each other for so many years. We're going to put you on the voting committee after this.
Good. That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, because come on. If anyone knows rock and roll, you do. So let's.
That's awesome, John Sykes.
Yeah. Well, it's when you took this job as chairman of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
My unpaid job.
Well, yeah, and part of that job is because it's a not-for-profit cultural institution. It's a museum that requires a lot of fundraising and grant writing and meetings with philanthropists and stuff like that to try to keep it all funded, because you really can't operate an institution like that just with admission prices alone. And it has, obviously its educational component as well. I know a lot of schools go there and scholars go there to study as well.
We were out there together with John Mellencamp.
Yes. But you do that, and that's your free job.
Yeah, that's right. iHeart is my day job.
But you also know that you have to take the grief that comes with it.
Yeah.
And there is grief that comes with it. And I'm telling you,
we're giving you grief, right?
This is the 8 o'clock hour. And this is the hour when the winners were officially announced. You're going to have to be...
every year somebody's upset with us. Because you're only popular one year, and then you someone who you've alienated. But you think about Cooperstown, you think about Canton for the Football Hall of Fame. There's always someone, I can't believe so and so didn't get in. I can't believe they didn't put that person in, because the basic rules are objective. 25 years you have to put a record out to be eligible. The subjective part is there's 30 people with different tastes, and even though they're quote unquote experts, sometimes they're not going to agree with the general audience. And boy, we got a lot of feedback of people not happy.
Oh, and little Steven, he really fights.
Yeah.
Before he fights.
He must be fun on the nominating committee.
He's smart. This guy's a musicologist.
Yeah.
Steven Van Zandt, man, he knows. He goes deep, and we all think we know music. If you listen, you know his Underground Garage. He's a great musicologist, but he's smart. Yep. He's real and passionate. But so is Tom Morello. Tom Morello in a nominating committee meeting, this guy, I'd vote for anybody he talked about. This guy can make a presentation.
And this year, people voted for him. John Sykes is chairman of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thank you for dropping by this morning.
And thank you for putting our Jim Kerr on the voting list.
You're on too.
Me?
Yeah, he set up. We were going to be.
You're both be on. But how can
Did
you
you
not?
hear that?
How can you not be on? How can you not vote with what you do every single day to millions of people? You're on. You're in.
Okay, so
Thank you. Oh my God.
So next year, people can be mad at us.
Yeah,
Thank you, John.
Exactly.
Aerosmith are here. New York's classic rock, Q1043.